Well, what we see a lot with our customers and prospects really are challenges relating to a high volume nature of unstructured communications. So think of the way the world has changed since 2020 and the adoption of unified communications platforms like Zoom, Teams, Slack, RingCentral, Cisco WebEx. They're communicating across all these different modalities now: voice, video, text, and as such, a lot of those organizations are really grappling with, especially with the distributed nature of the workforce as well, with it, and more people working from home. They're grappling with, how do we get a handle on those different modes of communication? Is there potential risk embedded in those discussions? Are there files being shared, links, passwords? So data loss prevention is also top of mind as well. So really regulatory compliance, and we've seen that recently this year with close to $1 billion US dollars in fines being levied against numerous investment banks. Sure, so at Theta Lake, what we do is we partner with all of those aforementioned communications platforms. They're also significant investors for Theta Lake as well. And we have direct integrations with them, tightly integrated to capture voice, video, text, preserve it in its native format, identify potential risks, such as phrases, keywords, anything that would be an example of potential fraud or wrongdoing and that would violate those regulatory mandates. We capture that data, we identify that risk, and then we have the opportunity to preserve it in our customers and prospects' infrastructure, either their own or our archive as well. What we do really is we accelerate those compliance officers' ability to productively review all of those communications. So, today organizations concerned about video might be really worried about having to review a virtual meeting that took place over an hour. We can identify those potential highlights, and more often than not, it's in traditional means of communication like chat, invoice, over unregulated, unmonitored channels like WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is another potential vehicle that organizations are not, managing or sanctioning internally, but are looking to do so. So we help them adopt those technologies, empower their users, transform their business, and then comply with those regulatory mandates. I think compliance departments are really challenged, right? When they look at, the volume of communications, the different ways that people are working, by nature, they're going to be cautious and hesitant in terms of embracing new technologies. That, is often a cultural issue and goes with the role and responsibility they have. Perfectly understandable. I think that the things that could be improved upon are probably more of a recognition of, manual processes, things involving maybe spreadsheets, tracking compliance review and things like that through more manual systems are not as scalable, but they're also the way that things have been done historically. So, really the need to just recognize, embrace change, and understand that there are technologies that may be, artificial intelligence, machine learning, NLP developed, but they're really just assistive. They're not something that's going to require them to totally change the way that they've done and conducted their compliance departments, but are really assistive. So, embrace that, don't be afraid of it. Well, really it depends on their goals and outcomes. When we look at, from a RegTech perspective, certainly avoiding regulatory risk and unpleasant ramifications like sanctions, fines, negative perceptions, loss of brand reputation, all of those things are at the forefront of their mind. So, in terms of choosing and selecting, I think one piece of guidance that we would provide would be aware of, the hype and sizzle and, potential lure of using these technologies with, sort of a really optimistic view that, the technology is the panacea, right? You have to apply the technology in an intelligent way. And that really takes means looking at it in a way that's going to be assistive. Take a look at the boring elements, right? So, while there's the AI and machine learning elements, also be aware that some of the providers out there are going to be, really reliant on passing their costs on to you. So, make sure you're choosing and selecting a vendor that, fits your infrastructure, whether it's AWS or Azure, that allows you to bring your own storage or bring your own security key, that has models of, for identifying risk in place that you can use and you can take away, and you aren't relying on the vendor to really develop a customized one-off solution that, really becomes unbalanced when, the vendor is, holding sort of the keys to your business, your compliance department, and you're incredibly dependent on them. So, choose vendors that really don't make you reliant on the vendor themselves. Well, it's been great to really see everyone here in person after, I think we've all been sort of away for a while because of the pandemic. So the optimism, enthusiasm has been great. We had the opportunity from Theta Lake's perspective to be on both the panel and panel discussion, as well as a vendor showcase, and also a demonstration of our technology. So we've had a real wealth of opportunities, so we really enjoyed it.